What do you think of when you hear the word young? For most of us, it's about discovery, right? It's late-night parties, friendships made in lecture halls, and the freedom of not having a single care in the world. It's that celebrated chapter of life defined by being free and beautifully, recklessly irresponsible. But for a handful of people, youth looks different. It isn't a party, it's a proving ground. It's not about finding yourself in a crowd. It's about building yourself, often in isolation. This isn't the story of a normal college experience. This is the story of an empire built from a dorm room. It's the story of the heavy price of greatness and the very lonely path to creating a legacy that lasts while his friends were chasing the weekend. He was chasing a legacy. For him, the price of greatness wasn't paid in dollars. It was paid in his youth. We all kind of get handed a playbook, don't we? Go to school, get good grades, find a secure job. It's the blueprint for a good life, or so we're told. For most people, this path works. But for some, it feels less like a path and more like a cage. Take Michael Dell. Back in 1983, he was a 19-year-old pre-med student at the University of Texas. His parents, a stockbroker and an orthodontist, had a clear vision for his future. A stable, respected career in medicine. But Michael saw something else entirely. He saw a world on the verge of a tech revolution, and he wasn't about to just read about it in a textbook. He saw that the personal computer industry was clumsy and inefficient. Customers had to buy prepackaged machines from stores, often with features they didn't need and at prices they couldn't afford. This wasn't just an idle observation. It was a problem that lit a fire in him. An idea so powerful it would change not just his life, but the entire industry. Right out of his dorm room 2713. To be exact, Dell started a small side business upgrading PCs for other students. He quickly realized he could build better computers, tailor them to exactly what a customer needed, and sell them directly, completely cutting out the middleman. This wasn't about teenage rebellion, it was about vision. While everyone else saw a lecture hall, he saw a launch pad. While they were studying for finals, he was studying market inefficiencies. The spark wasn't just about building computers. It was about building a better way. An idea is one thing, but execution, that's everything. And the currency for that execution is sacrifice. For every founder who builds something incredible from nothing, there's a long dark period of non-stop work we call the grind. This is where that lonely road idea really comes from. It's a deliberate choice to trade short-term fun for a long-term ambition. Mark Zuckerberg, a programming whiz at Harvard, famously launched the Facebook from his dorm room on February 4, 2004. That relentless focus meant he had to consciously give up the typical college experience. While his classmates were navigating social circles, he was navigating lines of code, completely obsessed with connecting his campus, and soon, the entire world. And this process is not glamorous. It's brutal. One young entrepreneur admitted that to build his company, he was routinely pulling 17-hour days, 7 days a week, giving up parties, weekends, and any chance to just relax. This is a common story. The first and most painful sacrifice is often your social life. Friendships don't fade because of a lack of care, but a sheer lack of time and a widening gap in what you care about. One founder even said he found it harder and harder to relate to people his own age. His mind was stuck on business problems, while their chats were all about parties and gossip. The pressure is just immense. Many entrepreneurs feel like they're carrying the entire weight of their company, completely alone, not wanting to worry their families or show any weakness to investors. It's an isolation they put on themselves, a belief that to build the dream, you have to become a ghost in your own life. This journey often comes at a steep personal cost, hitting not just social connections, but physical and mental health. In fact, recent studies have shown that entrepreneurs can be 50% more likely to be affected by mental health conditions. The same obsessive passion that fuels the climb can easily lead to burnout, anxiety, and depression. It's the dark side of the hustle, the dangerous belief that your own health is something you can afford to spend in the quest for success. But for the ones who can actually endure that grind, there's usually a moment, a breakthrough where all that sacrifice starts to pay off. The non-stop effort finally cuts through the noise, and the world starts to pay attention. For Michael Dell, the breakthrough came incredibly fast. His dorm room business, first called PCs Limited, was soon pulling in between $50,000 and $80,000 a month. The business got too big to hide, and his parents found out during a surprise visit. He then made the massive decision to drop out of college with just $1,000 in capital to officially launch his company. In its first year of official business, Dell's company made more than $6 million in revenue. Just a few years later, he took the company public, raising $30 million, and by the time he was 27, he was the youngest CEO of a Fortune 500 company. The kid who took apart an Apple II computer just for fun was now changing the entire industry. For Mark Zuckerberg, the breakthrough was a viral explosion. Within just 2 weeks of launching, half of Harvard's students had signed up for the Facebook. It quickly spread to other top schools like Stanford and Yale. That summer, Zuckerberg and his co-founders moved to Palo Alto, dropped out of Harvard for good, and got their first big investment. By the end of 2004, the site had over 1 million users. The dorm room project was now a cultural phenomenon, and even for people who faced unbelievable adversity, the breakthrough was a testament to their resilience. A young Oprah Winfrey, after a traumatic childhood, landed a job in radio while she was still in high school. By 19, she was the first black female co-anchor for the evening news in Nashville. Her unique, empathetic style was impossible to ignore. After being hired in 1984 to host a morning show in Chicago that was struggling, her personality quickly turned it into the most popular show in town, paving the way for the Oprah Winfrey Show and the birth of a media empire. These are the moments of validation. They are the proof that the lonely nights, the missed parties, and the crushing pressure were not for nothing. So what happens after the breakthrough? We all see the success, the money, the influence. We see the highlight reel. What we don't see is the psychological price that gets paid long after the cameras turn off. Success doesn't just erase the sacrifices. In some ways, it makes them feel even bigger. That the very same traits that drive entrepreneurs to succeed, their passion, their energy, their creativity, are the same things that make them more vulnerable to intense emotional states. That feeling of isolation doesn't just magically disappear when your net worth goes up. In fact, it can get even worse. Suddenly, you're responsible for the jobs of your employees and the expectations of your investors. The need to keep up a front of confidence and success can be overwhelming, making it nearly impossible to admit you're struggling or ask for help. It's why one study found that a huge number of entrepreneurs struggle with feelings of loneliness. Then there's the quiet sense of loss. Many people who get successful early in life look back on it all with mixed feelings. They're proud of what they built, of course, but they also feel a real sense of loss for the youth they can never get back. They miss the chance to be silly, to make mistakes that didn't matter, to just be a teenager or a college student. One founder admitted his only regret was sacrificing his mother's dream of seeing him be the first in their family to graduate from college. The constant pressure can lead to severe burnout and a feeling of being emotionally tangled up with your work. The person becomes the company, and their self-worth is tied directly to how well it's doing. This is the hidden cost of building a legacy, the parts of yourself that you can never, ever get back. So, you have to ask the question, was it worth it? In the end, this whole story, sacrificing your youth for a legacy, it's a huge paradox, isn't it? It's a story of isolation that leads to connection, of giving up a personal life to have a massive public impact, of trading fleeting moments of happiness for a lasting sense of purpose. It's a reminder that the heaviest burdens often lead to the greatest rewards, and that sometimes to build a world for everyone else, you have to first build one for yourself, lit only by a computer screen and a burning vision.